Good evening, this is Kuro. Got a tier 10 game in my Yugumo, and the purpose of this discussion is more about focusing about what's going on with the Yu Yang than so much the game in the background. There are a couple instances where the game has relevant info, um, and I'll talk about those when I get there. But going over the matchmaking, typical, this is actually just 10 and 9 matchmaking. Got a Missouri, a Donskoy, definitely for radar, a Minotaur, maybe with a radar. Uh, so, not a lot of radar presence. Um, but, getting to the point of the discussion, Yu Yang, they're going to knock a full second off the main battery reload, and knock 20 seconds off the torpedo reload. And I feel that this doesn't touch the issue that this boat has at all. And the issue is this boat has too many tools uh, to utilize, in it, particularly in its smoke configuration. I purposely don't run it in a smoke configuration in randoms. It just is no challenge at all. Uh, you have the ability, just like daring, to just, hop from smoke to smoke and just, you know, keep lighting people on fire after on fire over and over again, and it's just too much. Just that alone right there is incredibly powerful. But then you add in torps that if you don't have hydroactive, you virtually have no chance at avoiding these things if the person launching torps has any any skill at launching torps. What I mean by that is battleships can be, you know, target acquisition. They can have vigilance. They can run everything that they can to try to mitigate torpedo damage. They're still eating torps from this. And the torps, they've got decent alpha. They also have really good flooding chance. So you're giving a ship that has these very easy to land torpedoes, and I've already talked about just its ability just to hop from smoke to smoke and start fire after fire. That's very powerful. But it doesn't have anything to do with the DPM of the ship. Oh, sure, you might get, one less torpedo spread off in a game. Oh, sure, you might get, one or two volleys less off, out of your smoke. But at the end of the day, that really doesn't change any of the real nuts and bolts of, how this ship is really strong. So, I'm not really happy with the way that Wargaming is approaching this. It's just, this is too much. Um, for starters, the gun reload, I kind of get what they're trying to do, and I think they're trying to force people away from, um, torpedo tubes mod 3, away from torpedo armament expertise. Um, but the problem is with that, not everybody's number one gonna do it. Um, but you start actually breaking the balance of this boat. This boat doesn't have any protection from destroyers other than its guns, or in a radar configuration, its ability to radar enemy destroyers for your team. That's it. Um, the guns themselves, they're already an improved version of the gearing guns. And what I mean by that, gearing guns have an 11.1 kilometer range. I think they have like a 98-meter maximum dispersion circle. These guns have 11.9 and 1 kilometer less um, dispersion at max range. So what that means is even at max range for the gearing, you're still doing a significant amount of, um, you have significantly better dispersion than the gearing does at that range. So the guns are better than gearing guns. Um, in my opinion, this was done to help balance the ship by not having any viable torpedo armament um, against destroyers. But by knocking a full second off that reload, you know, I believe the intent is to force people to spec these things more as a gunboat, so they maintain some ability to, defend themselves. The issue being, you know, a 4 second reload Yu Yang, you do not have any armor that's going to stop, the new high HE alpha for a Shima. Some people might think, what it's a Shima, what are you going on about? The Shimakaze is going to strip 20% uh, per every decent volley off this destroyer. I mean, it's going to kill this thing in 6 or 7 good volleys. It's over. Um, Not having that DPM is really going to cripple it because that Shima is going to just want to chunk you down with you know one one good couple good volleys and that's it. Um, Basically break contact and then come back. The way that this boat has always been, along with the gearing, is um, you have to get in there, and just like I did with that Yu Yang, I didn't let that guy disengage. I let my higher DPM just work that guy down. That's how you win these fights with the U.S. destroyer guns. You basically get in there and just out DPM your opponents. Well, the issue with that is you're already going to struggle with things like daring and Haragumo. You have very little counterplay to those destroyers outside of your own concealment and outside of a radar configuration. So I really feel like the nerf that Wargaming's trying to do, it's off point. It doesn't touch really what makes this boat strong, really where it's able to really farm damage. Uh, and it just kind of, now you're gonna see what I'm talking about with the torps with this Conqueror. Yes, this guy, he's driving in pretty straight lines. I'm convinced that the guy has priority target. You're gonna see me bait his priority or bait him with priority target right now, or when my torps come up. And this guy at this range, he has very, very little counterplay. I mean, his counterplay is basically run. And I mean, being on the back of the beeline, he doesn't have far that he can run. Right here, I'm basically trying to bait his turn uh, with priority target, and you can see he instantly turns in. And I'm just waiting. I know that he's going to turn back out. He's going to want to keep kiting. And as soon as he locks his rudder over, you see me just take that lead, and that's it. His ship, he's already eaten these torps. His ship's rudder is not fast enough to unlock and avoid these torps. And that's the issue. I mean, This guy, even full torp, anti-torp build, there's nothing he can do about this. He just got like one quick flash warning. Oh, you're gonna eat torps, and eats four torps. And he's repaired. I know that he's gonna, kite out a bit. All I need is one. These things have really good flooding chance. I see that this game's obviously over. If I was smoked, I could just sit here and just farm this guy. I wouldn't even need to drop that second set of torps. But you know, it's that double-edged sword that it's it's too much. Too good a flooding chance. Torps that just they're going to land better. And I mean, you could see, he would have been eating torps anyway. Um, Hi, baby. Number one's awake. But I'm just gonna wrap this up. The issue is the ship has too many tools, and just a basic, you know, DPM nerf on its weapons. That's not the way to approach this. All it's gonna do is just piss players off, and it doesn't address the real issues behind what's making this boat strong. So, anyway, let me know what you guys think. I know this is kind of a hot button issue. I mean, myself, I'm invested in the permanent camo with the boat. Um, will I stop playing it? Probably not. But this is a nerf that it does irritate the shit out of me as a player, because I see the different ways that they could go with this, and you know I wish that they would look at you know the tools that it has, because in my opinion that's what's causing it to outperform. So again, leave your comments or anything below. Let me know what you think about it, because I am curious. Some people think that it doesn't need the nerf at all. Some think that it only needs part of it. And then there's guys like me that are like, you guys aren't even looking in the right spot. So I am interested in knowing what people think about it. Hope you guys are having a good night, and I will talk to you later.